Good morning, Nick here. Wait, it's not morning. 12:29 p.m. Central Standard Time, Dallas, Texas. Want to do a video. I've been communicating with a couple of very knowledgeable gentlemen, viewers of my videos, who gave me a lot of good pointers and hints about CWs and CW mode and BFOs and IF shifts and all this other kind of stuff that kind of makes my head explode. I'll be the first to admit I don't know a lot or hardly anything at all about that stuff. So like yesterday, for example, I did a video on this radio compared to Rodian Schwartz. And this one on CW was, wasn't doing what I was expecting it to do when I put it on the CW filter, which is 500 hertz. One of my viewers pointed out that he thought it was choking or stifling the CW signal. And I agree 100%, exactly what it sounded like. And I'm like, well, why is it doing that? Is the filter bad? Is my radio off frequency? Is something else wrong? Because, again, this radio was made in the 80s, all right? So anything could be possible. Anyway, he gave me a bunch of good pointers, and then also my very good friend Robert gave me some excellent pointers. He says, why don't you just try the IF shift? He says, put it dead on frequency that your FTDX 101 says it's supposed to be on. And that's the only good thing that's good for, all right? It's worthless for anything else, all right, except the scope. I mean, the only reason I keep it is because of the scope, and it'll give me a good reference for frequencies for sideband in CW, okay? I'm not a ham. So Yaesu really faked me out when they sold me that radio. Neutered it on AM. But anyway, that's a story for another day. So I decided this morning to incorporate some of the stuff that Robert taught me, and the other gentleman, he didn't disclose his name, but hey, thank you very much. You know who you are if you're watching this. And then I wanted to compare the Kenwood to a radio that it would have been compared to back in the day when it was brand new. JRC 515. All right. So let's roll with this. So y'all saw the Kenwood yesterday and in the previous video. So just to sum up, this one has 4 filters in it. 6 kilohertz, 2.4 kilohertz, 1.8 kilohertz, and 500 hertz. It's also had some capacitors replaced on the power supply and maybe some other stuff going on inside of it. It was worked on by Janky Electronics. Now, as a testament to their work, they also said they fixed the key bounce, which we know is not true because we saw it in the video. So is that a testimonial to the quality of the rest of their work? I don't know. But the radio works very well. And in fact, it represented itself very well compared to the Rodian Schwartz yesterday. So we'll see how it does today. Now, this 515 is bone stock. It only has 2 filters. It has a 6 kilohertz and a 2.4. The 0.6, the 600 hertz narrow filter is not in here. That was an option when this radio was new and it was never installed. And then there's a 4th position for an auxiliary filter. You can see that, AUX. That one is also empty. So this radio only has 2 filters. Another disadvantage for the JRC is that it only tunes to the first decimal place, which is 100 hertz. This one tunes to the second decimal place, which is 10 hertz. Now, this does not have an adjustable BFO or an adjustable fine tune, although it does have an IF shift. This one has a BFO that works on CW, and it has they call it a Delta F, Delta Tune, something like that, that works. It actually works in both CW and SSB sideband. So we can experiment with some of that. And I read the manual on this, on the JRC, and it said that I should be able to get CW signals without a 0.6 filter, because there's some magic going on inside where instead of using a using a bandwidth filter, it uses some other kind of magic where it diverts the signal and does some magic stuff that I don't understand. But let's see if it works. So anyway, I'm going to zoom in a little bit here. I might have to move, just so I can get close, I might have to move the camera up or down, or maybe I can do them both. Yeah, I think we can kind of, maybe we get lucky from here and you can see everything that I'm doing. Maybe. Okay. That's about as far away as I want to get. And you can see the controls at the bottom of the JRC there. All right. So the Kenwood is on a remote battery, DC power. Both radios are on the Wellbrook antenna outdoors going through the Stridesburg multicoupler. The JRC obviously is on its own plugged-in power source. This is the memory unit for the JRC. It may or may not use that. I don't know. I just wanted to compare how these radios receive signals. Again, as a comment to some of my other viewers who commented about how I need signal generators and nuclear reactors and 4 electronical engineers and 3 assistants in order to determine all this numbers and comparisons. I'm like, that's not what I'm doing. Okay, I'm just a collector and enthusiast who's having fun playing with radios. All right, and I want to turn 2 of them on and I want to see how they get the same signal. That's it. Okay, I don't even know what dynamic range is. All right, so let's listen to some stuff and start pushing buttons. So this is the that weak beacon I always chase, 28209. I think it's called N1TIT. I think that's the name. I could be mistaken. I checked it this morning on my Yaesu FTDX101, and it is coming in on 07.07. Here's the 1.8 filter. Let me put the IF shift centered. Now, when I put it down to 500 hertz, can't even hear it. Oh, I can barely hear it in the background. Oh, and by the way, this radio is on its own internal speaker, and the JRC doesn't have a speaker, so it's on this speaker sitting literally right here, 3 inches away from the radio. Okay, it's literally right there. All right, so my friend Robert said, dude, why don't you just flip the IF shift? So, listen to this. The IF shift currently, if you can see the red notch, is at 12 o'clock. There's a detent there that signifies your center. Dang, bringing that baby right in here. And we're on the 500 hertz filter. Robert, you're a genius, but you probably already know that. Now, that also tells me that I think my radio might be off frequency on CW mode. And I say CW mode because we're going to check this in sideband, and it's not off frequency. Or you can just go back and watch the video yesterday doing upper sideband. It was spot on. All right, but we'll check that here. Let's go down to this one. .28209. I can't dial in the .07. I hope you can hear that. Here's the BFO right here. Wait till it gets to the meat and potatoes. So one of my other viewers said that I should adjust the BFO until it has the same hertz tone, and he recommended 700 or hertz or something like that. It's Chinese to me. I'm like, you want me to adjust it, but there's no BFO on here. I don't see it, the numbers popping up anywhere. And he's like, no, you use your ears. I'm like, really? I'm like, I don't trust my ears to know what 700 hertz is versus 1700 hertz. But he says, you can tell. I'm like, okay. So I just tuned this to sound good and to sound close to the Kenwood. So I'm sure someone's going to tell me whether or not I'm doing this right. But it sounds good. And I'm on 2.4, no CW filter. And we're hearing it. I'm happy, very happy. Oh, this is a little higher toned. Okay. All right, let's come back and make this a little higher toned. God, it doesn't take much. I mean, I just move this to slightest fraction. I don't know, that kind of sounds really close to me. The tones, that is. But I'm so happy that this is getting it with only 100 hertz resolution and no CW filter. I'm already ecstatic. All right. Let's try. All right, so remember but this one I did have to turn the IF shift way down, okay? So let's, just to show you what I'm talking about, I just centered the IF shift, turn this back up. Now we can't hear the signal. Now we can, centered it. But if I tune this down, see, again, on the 500 hertz filter, now we're hearing it. So does that indicate that I am 300 hertz, actually 370 hertz off frequency? I don't know if that's what that means. But check this out. All right, this is VFOB, and I got it tuned into that maritime net on upper sideband. Okay. 2.4 kilohertz. Don't let me down. Start talking. So, static and stuff. But the guy's on frequency. Definitely off. Definitely off. Sounds really good. Except, I mean, maybe it's getting late in the day for 14 kilohertz, but... BFO does not work on sideband. The Delta Tune does. But you turn it on here.
Island, Michigan, over.
Turned it off. Yeah, he sounds pretty good. This dude must be on 0.5.
I'm coming in there to Missouri pretty steady, and it takes me about 5 minutes or less to set this thing up. I've got a rig expert. It's getting resonant in the general vicinity. It's pretty resonant at 12%. Right now, SWR is 14,300. It's down around 1 to 1, which is pretty
All right, he's gone. So that squeaking that you hear is an adjacent signal that's powerful coming in, and I'm even on the 1.8 kilohertz filter up there, if you can see that. But anyway, it seems to be on frequency. When I turn this Delta Tune off, that takes this out of play, and the radio is at 283.0 and seems to be fine. So, and even when I turn the Delta Tune on, well, let's do it. It seems to be hovering around this 12 o'clock mark. The slightest touch moves it off.
Well, it's working. Doing a fantastic job there.
Yeah.
You have a good evening and enjoy the rest of the weekend there. Let me see some more color in 4 hours.
So back to my original point about the Kenwood, it's upper side band. It seems to be spot on frequency with the IF shift at 12 o'clock in the detent. So if I move this, I guess I should move it off if I can find a signal. Usually these guys they never shut up on this channel. They're my go-tos. Where you guys are letting me down. Where are you when I need you? See, I turned the IF shift down to where it was for CW, and they're off. Now they're good at 12 o'clock.
Kilo Oscar 4, Bravo, Golf, Juliet, and when you find that also here into Illinois as parts at 0982.
So, Robert, I hope that explains what I was trying to tell you about how the SSB is off when I put the IF shift down to where it works for CW. So, what baffles me is how can the radio be off in CW but not off on USB? Is that possible? So, anyway. All right, let's do some AM stuff. Where should we go? Let's go into 12 or 1300 or something like that.
Y tú perdonaste mi culpa y mi
6
pecado.
kilohertz.
Por eso que todos tus fieles te supliquen en el momento de la angustia. Tú eres mi refugio. Tú me libras de los peligros y me colmas con las alegrías de la salvación. Yo te instruiré, te enseñaré el camino. Con los ojos puestos en ti, seré tu consejero. Cuántos son los tormentos del malvado, pero el Señor proveerá con su amor al que confía en Él. Alégrense en el Señor, regocíjense los justos, canten jubilosos los rectos de corazón.
Both radios are on 6 kilohertz, their widest filter.
El principio de la sabiduría es el temor del Señor. Santo, esa es la inteligencia, porque por mí tus días se multiplican.
So the Kenwood sounds better. That just could be that's the speaker I'm using for the NRD. You know, maybe that speaker ain't good. Who knows? And I'm too lazy to hook them both up to the same speaker. So, let's see here. Let's tune some other stuff.
Con hombres como usted. Ya te digo, tuve el honor de compartir algunos años contigo en la famosa escritura de hombre de la cárcel de Guanay. De verdad, para mí fue un honor conocerte. Y lo mismo a ti que a Pulpo, para los presos políticos. La Fundación Rescate de los Médicos no los va a dejar solo. Así que cualquier cosa que se necesite para cualquier familia de preso político, solo tienen que llamarnos y hacernos la solicitud. Nosotros estamos dispuestos desde aquí a apoyarlos en lo que sea necesario. Ok, así que un abrazo. De todas formas, no sé si
2.4.
pregunta o tú quieres poner algo más. Bueno, pero sí que debo agradecerle el tiempo que me había dedicado.
6.
Ha sido un placer estar contigo en este programa.
2.4. Now, the JRC's 2.4 filter sounds better on AM, on a strong AM, than this one.
Bueno, entonces ahora
So, does that mean anything? I don't know. Maybe for ECSS it might. Who knows?
Que sostuvo con José Elías Agüero tras finalizado este programa La Voz de la Oposición, un programa de denuncia a la dictadura cubana por violar todos los derechos humanos.
One more signal. Let's try long wave. NDB. This JRC is not happy down there. Sounds like an antenna thing. Maybe. AM broadcast.
Membership eligibility and product restrictions apply and are subject to change. United Services Automobile Association Safe Pilot is optional. Active USAA auto policy required for discount. Only in select states. Smartphone and download of Safe Pilot app required. Earn driving discount offered at renewal and based on all rated drivers on policy. Discount may vary by state or life of policy. United Services Automobile Association and its affiliates, San Antonio, Texas.
I'm Martin Hoke, the inventor of Navage Nasal Care, and I love Navage. I told you about how your nose is the body's air filter, but Navage's powered suction will help flush out allergens, viruses, mucus, and germs.
Okay. All right, that's enough messing around. I was very surprised that the 515 could pick up CW. And apparently the manual is correct. They got some kind of voodoo black magic going on where they can get it without a bandwidth filter for it. So, and then the Kenwood having that discrepancy between being on frequency and off frequency between CW and USB. And I could be wrong. Maybe they're not off frequency. You know, the fact that I had to do CW with the IF shift, I don't know. Because if you read the IF shift stuff even from other radios, it's like it moves the passband without changing the frequency. But isn't that in effect changing the frequency? I don't know. Anyway. So, all right. I get a kick out of this stuff. So anyway, thanks for hanging out.